Hi guys, and welcome to AA35. Now time really flies, and in a flash 2020 is drawing to a close. It's been an eventful year on many fronts and not all of it pleasant. But still, time marches on, and as we head into December, you know what time it is. Resolutions time. Except, how far along are you with this year's resolutions? If you're like many people, they may have fallen by the wayside, and if you're already thinking on next year's resolutions, stop right now. You see, if you haven't achieved this year's resolutions, well, how likely are you to achieve those? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So this year, going into 2021, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're starting a series on goals and resolutions, and early enough so you've got time to take in and apply what I want to share with you, so that next year you'll achieve more of your goals, be it in business, in work, in your studies, in your relationships, and your fitness. Sound good? Alright, first step, understand why focusing on goals is useless. You may have heard of that Yale study that seems to be a favorite of motivational speakers and success gurus. Now, supposedly, a group of graduates from Yale University was tracked over 20 years. Now, 3% of those wrote down clearly defined goals, but the rest didn't. Well, at the end of that 20 years, the combined net worth of those 3% was greater than that of the other 97% combined. Now, I think I first heard this story from Zig Ziglar, and Anthony Robbins may have referenced it, but the problem is there's no such study. Now, you may have set many goals before for your business, your work, your studies, or your relationships, certainly your weight and fitness. You may even have used a system like the SMART goal setting system. And yet, year after year, your resolutions remain the same. Now, for many years, I too focused heavily on goals, but I'd set business goals and fail, relationship goals and fail, fitness goals and fail. So why do so many people set goals and fail? Why are our New Year resolutions the same year after year? Well, the reason is that just focusing on goals is pretty much useless, if not counterproductive. Let's break it down. 1. Everyone has goals. Think about the business. They say that 90% of businesses fail within 5 years. And when they interview those who succeeded, what do they invariably say? That they had goals and plans. Well, guess what? So did everyone else who started a business. Every athlete wants that goal and has a training program. Every student wants that A and has a study timetable. Every executive wants that promotion and has a career plan. So having goals, whether you write them down or not, can't be the differentiating factor. And when you hear about successful people who ascribe their success to having goals and plans and dreams, that's just survivor bias. 2. Goals and plans are too vague. Look at your list for 2020. What did you write? Maybe something along the lines of exercise more, eat healthier, spend more time with family and loved ones, read more, save more. Well, that's a start, but only a start. For example, save more. Well, how much more? Spend more time with family? Well, what's your baseline? Exercise more compared to what? How long exactly? Now, when I work with first-time clients, they're usually surprised by the level of detail we go into when we're talking about goals and resolutions. Now, everyone may have heard of the SMART goal setting system. Make your goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-specific, and that's a good start. But there's so much more that goes into making your goals successful, especially, for example, in crisis planning. Now, when a crisis arises, as they often do in life, our mental and emotional reserves aren't usually enough to adapt our plans on the fly, especially if those goals are something we've never achieved before, because all our resources are directed towards solving the crisis. So your plan has to focus on dealing with this crisis before they happen, so that if they do arise, you can go on autopilot and still achieve the necessary steps towards that goal. 3. Goals are short-term. Think about reality weight loss programs. Now, everyone has a target date in mind, so they do whatever it takes to get them there. On the day of the weigh-in, the winner takes the prize, the losers go home, and what happens next? Almost everyone gets that weight back. Now, I see this all the time. I used to work in a weight management clinic, and frequently I'd see clients achieve their goals of losing some weight by the end of the program. They were focused and they made changes, but once they achieved the result, there was no further drive. So they slacked off. They no longer ate properly or slept well, and as for exercise, you can guess what happened to that. They backslided, and unless they took another package, the weight almost always came back. Now, maybe you know someone who wanted to complete a 5K or even a half marathon, and they did, but once they achieved it, unless they had another target set, they didn't sustain the exercise and the nutrition that got them there. So those actions were just short-term practices for accomplishing a discrete goal. And without continually setting new ones, they backslide, which brings me to the next point, the next problem of focusing on goals. 4. Delayed happiness. When people focus on a goal, they see it as an endpoint, something in the future they're working on today. The problem is, until they achieve it, they're not satisfied in the here and now. They're living for the future instead of being fully present in the present. Then when they do reach their goals, they're happy, but only for a while. Now, maybe you know someone who said something like, when I get that promotion, or once I hit that $1 million, or once I get that girl or guy, once I get that six-pack. And then when they achieved it, it was more like, is this all? What else? What's next? What happens is that when you achieve a goal, there's some happiness, but only for a while. And before that, there's an emptiness. The focus is so much on the destination that the journey between is just something endured or tolerated or suffered. And when that journey, that process isn't enjoyed, the actions won't be permanent. And so the results that came from those actions don't last. So, large periods of dissatisfaction, small amounts of transient happiness. It's always about the next milestone and never the road in between. And what's worse, if these goals aren't accomplished, then you don't even experience those momentary moments of happiness and fulfillment. Weak why. Finally, many people have nebulous goals, and by that I mean they don't come from a deep personal motivation. Now, I've shared with you before a quote from Nietzsche, and it goes something like, "He who has a strong enough why can stand almost any how." Now, many people set goals and resolutions, that's the what. But their personal whys are so weak that they have to exert tremendous willpower and rely on external motivators to do the how. Now, maybe they're trying to lose weight because their partner's losing interest in them. Maybe they're working hard because they're afraid of getting fired. Maybe they attend a dating workshop because they feel pressured to have children soon, or any other goals you can think of that people set not because of deep personal motivation, but because someone else said they should. But what we want is permanent change. You see, we don't want a six-pack for 2 weeks. We don't want one day's good work performance that deteriorates over the next month and then you still get fired anyway. We don't want a relationship that lasts 5 dates. We don't want to achieve a resolution for a moment and then have to set those same resolutions year after year. So how do we create permanent change? Well, in coaching, we focus not so much on the destination, though it's good to have, but we focus on making the journey itself something to enjoy and experience. We create processes that make it easier to achieve not just short-term, but sustained and more permanent results. And when we create those processes, permanent change flows from that as a natural consequence, with minimum exertion of willpower and need for external motivators. Now, how we create these processes is what we'll look at in future videos. So please like this video, share it with someone you care about, subscribe, hit the notifications button, and please do share with me your own comments on your experiences, both successes and failures on goals and resolution setting. I'll see you soon.